Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It is Friday, right?
Hello. Yes.
If you're watching in the future, hello to you as well, whatever day it may happen to be. If you are watching in the future, remember to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you can join us in future shows, because we'd love to see you in the live chat. Although, watching in the future is fine too. It's whatever you're comfortable with, but we'd love to see you. Advent. We're halfway through. Today is the 12th day of the 24 days leading up to the thing. Yes, we're doing Atheist Advent this month. I've got a happy little calendar with a little Santa guy. Well, no, that's a snowman. That's a Santa. It's fine. And we're doing random geology because science. It's Atheist Advent. It's secular achievements. And so in today's little door, number 12, we have one of these, which the color is a little bit off on screen, but it's gray, I assure you. And this is a gray agate, which I need more light. Aziz, light. Gray agate is a I test pronounced this before the show, and I still can't do it. Chalcedony. What a fucking name. Anyway, it's a stone with translucent gray hue so that you can see the layers. Even though there's visible layers, it's volcanic. So like obsidian yesterday, it's produced by volcanoes, and apparently I suspect it's metamorphic. Like it's laid down in volcanic layers, but then pressure and temperature. I don't know. I mean, I've caught several typos in our descriptions so far. I don't think they know what metamorphic rocks are. You know what? We can look it up. We can. We have the internet at our disposal. We can look it up. But we are building a wonderful collection of beautiful gray, well, not gray stones, great stones, some of which are gray, some of which are other colors. It's fine. Gray agate. Metaphysical properties is the first listing. Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
Okay. It's a banded variety of quartz, which is chalcedony. Words are hard, folks. It's known for stability,
I have no idea.
and grounding. You know, just so we all know. Its soothing gray hues go from light to dark, often with intricate patterns. They're layers. They're layers. My goodness. Okay, so it is a form of microcrystalline quartz, silver gray to deep charcoal, often with bands. Hardness 6.5 to 7 on the Mohs scale, making it durable. Its texture is vitreous, which is glassy, lustrous, and often polishes very smooth. It's formed from silica deposits in rock cavities, creating distinct layers. So it's not volcanic, actually. You know what? If y'all remind me when we get to the end on day 24, I will Google all of the stones and we will find out how badly the calendar mischaracterized all of them. Oh, wow. That's just complete miss on that one. Goodness. Alrighty, let's see. What else have we got? We got some feedback about the fonts and colors on our names and super chats. You know, for Oh, okay. Something in the chat made me a little sus there for a second. But Ryan is here, although walking pickles and in listening mode. But I just wanted to grab a comment so I could highlight that we changed the font and the color scheme to try to make it more legible. And to anybody who's having difficulty, I've said the choices are very limited on this software. We're hoping to be off of this by the end of the month. We're already doing some shows on different software. So if it's still not working for you, just please be patient. Hold, please. You know. So yeah. Let's see what other announcements and things of note. Today's topic: ethics and human rights, both central to the secular movement, both predicated. The secular movement depends on ethics and human rights. What do we mean by ethics? Because that's meant different things to different people and still does depending on who you talk to. Well, that's, as it turns out, a matter of philosophy. Different people have different ideas. You know, I should have invited Abby Thorne. I am sure she would have jumped right on. Never mind the fact she lives in the UK, so it's like a weird time of day for it. No, I'm sure as soon as you say philosophy, boom, she's there, you know? Oh, goodness. Anyway, it's a matter of philosophy. It depends on what you're talking about, because ethics, while it can be defined as its own term, something along the lines of your prioritized system of values or your ethical code, well, that would be circular. Your moral code, a lot of people use it as a synonym for moral. It really depends on the system. The subject, the topic, if you will, the hot topic, if you will. I need to stop blathering because I'm driving everyone away, apparently. So, it's fine. It's fine. For today, I have located for us a different encyclopedia, one that seems to have far fewer ads and doesn't have a paywall that I've found yet. And so we'll try this. We'll see how it goes. New World Encyclopedia. We're gonna test the encyclopedia as we go. What could possibly go wrong? Okay. The previous entry, incidentally, the history of Christianity. That could be fun to read another time too. In fact, maybe we will. Maybe we will. The next available show slot is New Year's Eve. We're probably going to do something New Year related, like why is the New Year January 1st? I don't know. But we may come back to that one. I'll put a pin in it. All right. So it starts with any historical overview is necessarily selective. That's true, but is it relevant to mention it here? Like, I think people know that any overview has to be a summary because it's an overview. Repeating all of history would require repeating all of history. The current article elaborates the central teachings of some of the most important ethical philosophers of the ancient, medieval, and modern periods. Roughly speaking, ancient ethical thinking begins with the Greek sophists of the 5th century BCE and ends with the fall of Rome, because it's all about Europe. But never mind that. Now, as with so many of these subjects that we've talked about before, a lot of what's written in English has a European perspective baked in, and that's unfortunate, but very common. Because there just isn't this idea of any other culture could have been as advanced or more advanced than the Europeans at any given time. In point of fact, I'm hardly an expert on ancient Cathay, but they had written ethical systems while the Babylonians were still figuring out how to stack bricks on top of each other, But never mind. We do have a super chat. Robin's dropping by. Hello, Robin. Lovely to see you. And she says, send $2. Thank you much. And says, love you, Ember. Love you too, Robin. Robin just did a show with our friend Joe over at the Kentucky Atheist yesterday, where she was talking about, first of all, she had a fabulous hat. And that immediately gets all my attention. But she was they were talking about politics, but she was also mentioned that she was going to meet Andrew Seidel later, and that's pretty neat too. Now I'm gossiping. Don't mind me. But the hat was amazing. Okay, anyway, whatever. We're in Europe. Medieval philosophy is the philosophy of Western Europe, specifically Western Europe, because of the fall of Rome, because Eastern Europe was still Rome until like the 1600s. Probably not quite that late. Maybe the 1400s. When the fuck did the Ottomans take over? I can't remember. But the East was still Rome for hundreds of years more. Approximately the period between the fall of Rome and the Renaissance. Yes, the medieval era would approximately be the period between the fall of Rome and the Renaissance. Yes. Modern philosophy begins after the Renaissance, circa 1600, and continues until the present day. Hold the fuck up. When did the Ottomans take down Constantinople? When did the Eastern Empire actually fall?
Well,
Byzantine Empire fall. Okay, let's see here. Byzantine Empire, 1453, and
14.
Okay, yeah, the fall of Constantinople was the effective end of the Byzantine Empire. When did the Renaissance start? Period of history of 15th and 16th centuries. It's hard to pin down an exact date. There's no single event that marks the beginning of the Renaissance. Simply a series of favorable conditions during the 13th and 14th centuries. What I'm leaning towards here is Could it be that the West being culturally impoverished for hundreds of years was because of the Eastern Empire? Could it be that Islam sweeping away the remnants of Rome opened the doorway for knowledge to flood back into the West and trigger the Renaissance?
Possibly.
One could do a thesis on this. Now, I'm sure there's scholars who already have answers, but like, holy shit, the implications of that. And I must admit, it is just a coincidence of timing, it seems. But it may be more than that. I don't know. It's worth looking into. It's worth looking into.
Because the Renaissance is widely regarded as so
maybe. I mean, so okay. We know the Renaissance was largely triggered by the reintroduction of ancient Greek knowledge by Islam. The Islamic scholars had retained the old Greek knowledge that the Romans managed to lose. And when they were going through their intellectual golden period, when they were inventing all kinds of stuff and making leaps mathematically and whatnot, there was a lot of talk about what the Greeks had thought, and that those new scholarly works in the Islamic world reintroduced the ancient Greek works to the West, if not the East. And that's what basically got the Renaissance rolling, is the Greek knowledge was restored to Greece and Italy. That's what happened. And like, so we know that the spread of Islam, as much as the Christians hate Islam, it is responsible for the Christians becoming powerful nations again. Thank Islam if you enjoy science. Holy shit. But I digress.
There's a reason our stars are named what they are, like Beetlejuice.
Aldebaran, algebra. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much. Like, and this was the same period of time that the Ottoman Empire, granted, the Caliphate had fallen centuries before and splintered, but the Ottoman Empire, for all its downsides, culturally speaking, in terms of human rights and so forth, it was thriving for academics. And the more it grew, the greater the ability, the stability, making it possible for academics to do their thing. And it was the growth in those academics that made it possible for the ancient Greek stuff to be rediscovered by the West. So maybe the East wasn't intentionally blocking the West. I sure as hell don't know. But the growth of the Ottoman Empire, I mean, once they took over Constantinople, Greece was effectively free again, even though they were technically a state under Ottoman rule, because it's complicated. It's an idea, and it's completely off topic. I'm like trying to work through the parts of that period of history that I know well, so that I don't start wildly speculating about shit I don't. But there's also shit I just don't know that has bearing on the idea. So I'm like, well, just let it go. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is, at least with the history, my degree is actually in modern, everything from the Renaissance all the way up to modern day. So I do focus 20th century stuff, but pretty decent knowledge base of the whole thing.
As a general rule, things are often more complicated than they may seem. They almost always are. Even if you go through several layers of more complicated, they're still more complicated underneath.
Oh, yeah.
It's those compactified dimensions the quantum physicists keep looking for.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Quantum. I love astrophysics. Quantum physics breaks my heart.
I've heard a number of people say that. I don't really get why.
Because there's that there's a if quantum to you yet you haven't understood it. And I think it was it Bohr who said that? It's yeah, it makes sense. Like if you haven't like looked through it and been like, huh? Dig into something that didn't seem to make sense and then find out that yes, it actually does make sense. It's just crazy and it's really cool.
It is. It's oh my goodness. I remember when I first learned about spin 1/2 particles and then 3/2 particles and I'm like, what they're doing what now?
It's a circus. It is a circus. It's a fun circus, but it's a circus.
Yeah. So for anybody who's not
love it.
familiar, it's a tangent, but it's a kind of fun one. A normal thing that spins is a spin one particle, right? Like if you inflated it to the size of a planet, it spins once and it goes around once. A spin now I always get these reversed, so don't at me if I get these backwards. But a spin 1/2 particle means it has to go around half a time and it has completed one circle. Or a 3/2 means it has to go around a time and a half to complete one circle, because the space it takes up in 360 degrees is different. I especially like the ones, and again, I probably have that backwards because I'm always mixing up 1/2 versus 3/2 when it comes to spins. But it's fucking wild that the thing has to do more than 360 degrees or less than 360 degrees to complete what to us looks like 360 degrees. Because it defies the nature of definition, but there's more space in that space.
Yeah. Hey, it breaks my
tangents.
And yes, tangents.
It's true. It's true. You too can procure some tasty tangents. I haven't had breakfast, folks. I
need to just keep that handy anytime we go for a tangent. I can just lift it up to let everybody know we are on a tangent.
Behold my tangents. Now Lil has the hoodie, which costs a little bit more than the t-shirt, but it's a hoodie. But there's also still the t-shirt.
I have,
if you're into that kind of thing.
I have them all. I have bought them all.
Lil is collecting things. And on a related note, if you need shit to collect, there's still time to get this lovely calendar in time for the holidays. I'm just capitalisming out here while I'm at it. Award-winning photography, every single image. Just saying. Oh, and Lil has another thing. What do you hold on? I'm trying to switch with you. There we go. St. Paul's biblically accurate invitation. You are, it's reversed, but it says you are cordially invited to shut the fuck up. And that is a quote from St. Paul, according to one apologist's interpretation of a translation of another translation, and so on. But it's biblically accurate. Yeah. Oh goodness. It's a whole, oh my, yes. Okay. That's a lot of tangents. Okay. It's true. It's true. All right, where the hell were we? Modern philosophy. Right. Each period has its framework of thought shaped by accepted belief trends and presuppositions. Now, it's true. I do talk a lot of crap about presuppositions, but it's also true that we do have to presuppose some things. The difference with presuppositions in the sense of having a conversation and presuppositions in the way presuppositionalists mean it is that with presuppositions that you make for the sake of having a conversation so that you can just get to the subject matter, every single proposition can be investigated. It can be found to be supported or insufficient or wrong. You can look into all of them. When presuppositionalists walk into the room, they're proposing something that is definitionally uninvestigable. It's unfalsifiable, and so you have no reason to think so. And that's an important note. While it's true we do all have presuppositions, we can check ours. A presuppositionalist cannot. Yes. When I click back over to the window, it erases my bookmark, which is not helpful. It forms the background of ethical theories, and it often remains an implicit knowledge. That being each period of thought or modern philosophy, whatever. History of ethics depicts the changes of this background as well as particular ethical theories of each philosopher. This article covers ethical theories in Western philosophy alone, which is a damn shame because there's a lot of good ideas in other cultures. But we're working with what we got today, folks. We could spend the whole show looking for better sources, or we can kind of critique the one we have while we go through what it has. I do wish, though, that we could find like easier access to sources that aren't Western Europe centered, because there's so much ethical thinking that's gone on. Like, for example, in the Empire of Peru, right? They discussed human rights extensively because for a long period of time they practiced human sacrifice. Is this right? Should we be doing this? It came up kind of often. Oh my goodness. Ancient ethics. In the Western intellectual tradition, let's back that up and try that again. In the Western intellectual tradition, philosophical reflection on ethical codes began with the Greek sophists of the 5th century BCE. Well, not exactly, but let's hand wave that away and just move on, shall we? Because there was philosophy before the sophists. There were ideas that pertain to what we now call ethics, but weren't yet ethics at the time. Like, this stuff didn't just appear out of a vacuum, right? Like every other idea, there's preceding ideas that go back and back and back and back and back. And so it's not like one person is sitting under a tree, gets thumped on the head by an apple and goes, eureka, light bulb. It's all stuff built on pre-existing stuff. This is how everything has always worked in all of history, all of time, all of science, all of biology, all of everything. It's always what you have right now came from the stuff that immediately preceded it, and the stuff that immediately preceded that. And it's just things happening in order. That's what time is, I digress. The sophists were itinerant teachers who traveled around the Hellenic world teaching, as teachers often do, young men, because, women can't learn, the art of public speaking, because that is the most important thing to learn as a philosopher, is how to talk instead of listen or figure things out. But never mind.
Oh, yes.
The most important skill needed to become successful in the political arena of the day. One of the earliest sophists, Protagoras, our protagonist, denied the existence of objective moral truth and defended a version of moral relativism. He emphasized the extent to which moral codes are human creations, sets of customs practiced and upheld by particular communities. In Plato's Theaetetus, that word, he said, Theaetetus, he is said to have claimed that whatever the city establishes as just is just for the city as long as it judges it so. That may sound familiar to some of y'all. That's sort of the Euthyphro dilemma. Is what God commands just because God commands it, in which case it's subjective and depending on God's whims, or is God commanding it because it is just, in which case God's authority is subject to an external authority, and therefore we don't need the God to get to what is just. Either way, fuck. Same thing here. If the city declares a law and then says the law is moral because it's the law, you get a big old circle. Slavery was legal at one point. That doesn't mean it was moral, you know? Dr. Kip says, this is the way. Oh my goodness. And it's both nerdy and true. And also Dr. Kip has another show coming up later today. You may have heard, you may have seen. You should already be aware because you should already be subscribed to Dr. Kip Davis. If not, what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Yeah, I don't know. He's like the absolute best. I don't know why you are not subscribed now.
Well, I mean, you can wait till the show's over. My Unfinished Sock says, don't mispronounce Greek words. Like and share the stream instead. I mean, you can do both. I will not stop you from doing both. Oh my. And Kip says, sadly, it may actually not be until after Christmas that the audiobook is available. Alas. Alas. I mean, like I said, I am eager for it. I've been waiting for it. I have a credit on my Audible account set aside waiting for it. But I would rather have it be the way you want it. I want quality over speed. But I did finish one really big long book while I was showering this morning, and now I have space. So like I can it's fine. Let's see. A pic from last night on Discord. Oh, okay. I know what you mean. It's
my Kip really likes listening to Dr. Kip. So like I'll put on like a live stream of his or something if I need to get her to calm down, because then she'll just eventually fall asleep. Right.
It's been known to happen. I mean, sometimes you find a voice that's like that. Like there's a random memes reading channel called MK, and there's like nothing of intellectual content on this channel. It's just meme reading. But Robin's voice, for some reason, is so fucking soothing that if I cannot sleep, I will put on Robin as one of the meme readers. I'll put on one of Robin's videos, and in minutes, I'm out. It's just sometimes voices are like
I have several.
Anyway, this is Robin meeting Andrew Seidel. And did I not say amazing hat?
I love that
right?
hat. That's like the best thing ever. It's gorgeous.
I mean, the color coordination. Joe actually commented. He was like, why red though? And literally everyone in the side chat is like, because it matches the outfit. It's called fashion, Joe.
I love.
Yeah, but also it is a great hat. Oh my. But Kip also warns us that today's stream is going to be spicy because and embarrassing if you happen to be Michael Jones. In fairness, everything Michael Jones has done recently is very embarrassing to Michael Jones. Pretty much everything since September 10th, I dare say. if any of y'all recall what happened on September 10th, but we don't need to get into that. Mine finished song says, "Don't make false dichotomies. Like and share the stream instead."
Mm-hmm. And since we are talking about
God.
Dr. Kip, go get it. Or the audiobook.
Hell yeah. I need, you know what? If we weren't departing this platform, it suddenly occurs to me that we don't have to do stuff just from the Ember store. Like, for example, we have the Java and Jugs mug, which is designed by Jess.
Get that?
You know, we're all on Java and Jugs. We have that. Like, we could do stuff from other stores. We could have a link to Kip's book. If I have similar buttons on the other software, I'll see if I can, because that would be helpful. Where is this picture? This is Robin's picture. I'm not sure where the hell that is. Some place in Kentucky. But Robin, if you're still listening, Kip has questions. Hebrew text on the walls in the background. I'm not seeing any, but maybe I'm a silly bean. No, okay. In fairness, I'm definitely a silly bean. It's, but that may not have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's switch back to what we're supposed to be doing. John Hudson's like, did I just walk into an infomercial? We can help you with that one. Hey folks, I've been working hard on my health, and so far I've lost over 140 pounds. A huge part of good health is hydration. That's why I'm thrilled to partner with Epic Water Filters. Check this out. Not only can you say goodbye to expensive bottled water, but these filters are made in the US, so no tariffs, and they're made to fit your life. From these lovely pitchers I can fill from, to sink units, to portable filters that fit in your reusable bottle. With Epic, I can refill from nature's water sources and not have to worry about bacteria and whatnot. But also, send back a used filter to be responsibly recycled, and they'll send you a free replacement, saving you and the earth even more. Want to save a ton of money, be healthier, and build a better world? Head to epicwaterfilters.com and enter code EMBER15 at checkout for 15% off. Don't settle for random water. Upgrade to Epic. Hell yeah. I'm fiddling with things and it took slightly too long. As one does. But yeah, thank you for that, John. I felt it would have been weird to like go into the commercial after we just advertised a bunch of products. And then you literally asked for it. So that was helpful. Thank you.
It worked. It was flawless. I loved it.
It made it ethical.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's Western Europe, even though Greece is included, whatever. I realize Greece is considered to be part of the Western world today, but it wasn't when we were defining what East and West are, because it was part of the Eastern Empire. But never mind. In the Western intellectual tradition, which is a weird thing to say about an intellectual tradition that comes from not the West, but okay. Philosophical reflection on ethical codes began with the Greek sophists. I already read this part. Damn it. Moral relativism. Plato's Theaetetus. Theaetetus? Ooh. Never mind. He said he claimed whatever the city establishes is just. It is just for the city as long as the city judges it so. Incher says, don't fiddle your things, like and share the stream instead. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Plato, right. Later figures, such as Callicles. Why don't we pronounce everything in Greek fashion? Like, People say Callicles or Heracles or Sophocles. Why don't we say follicles when we're referring to our hair? For instance, it'd be so much more fun. Callicles, not follicles. Callicles drew a contrast between moral laws as human conventions. I read this part too, didn't I? No, this is actually new. He drew a contrast between moral laws as human conventions and laws of nature. He's saying that they're not the human laws are made up, but the laws of nature are not. But in order to do it, he's committing an equivocation, because we're taking moral laws, which is to say laws that we're calling moral, and things that happen in nature, which we're describing and calling laws. Like, these are Venn diagrams that have nothing in common except happening to use the word law through a convention of speech. Like, what are we doing? But so he's like, no, they're two separate things. Yeah, we know, Callicles. We know. It's the kindergartners know. it's just a quirk of speech. What the hell? But he's trying to say that moral ideas are human conventions, and what physics requires of us, the operations of the universe, not human conventions. So this stuff's made up and this stuff isn't, which is true, but obvious. But again, we're talking about the sophists here. So yeah, the super obvious stuff is the peak of brilliance to them. It's fine. Callicles argues that conventional moral codes are the inventions of a weak majority so as to subordinate the powerful few. We got Machiavelli. There it is. I didn't have a chance to eat breakfast before the show, and so I haven't taken my medicine yet because I have to eat first. We're doing our best. Weak men, and Kip, dog shake Kip, who has opinions. Weak men promote belief in the goodness of equality, since this is the best they can attain. But these conventions serve only to subvert the laws of natural justice, in which might is right. It is the law of nature that the strong ought to possess more than the weak. Consequently, the right way for a strong man to live is to pursue his own interests and power, acting unjustly if he can get away with it. How do you determine what is just if you don't believe there is such a thing as justice? What are we doing, Follicles? What's up? What's up? The challenge to the moral action may be providing theirs is a question that still haunts philosophical ethics more than 2,500 years later. Why be moral? It's an interesting question. It is. It's something that, every second grader should think about for at least an hour or two. But I think we get the answer to that in kindergarten, because we want other people to be moral to us, because we have empathy for other people, because it hurts our feelings when other people are mistreated. And yes, I know, facts over feelings, but feelings are an integral part of our experience. It's a sense input. It's the same as vision or something. Robots are bad. Am I having robots? Lil, are you hearing me, robots, or is it the software?
I was briefly.
The 3 volumes. I think that's about something else, though. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, my internet connection is good. Maybe it's, I don't know. Let me know if it happens again. I'll try resetting. If sometimes the internet glitches. I don't know. Say lovey. Right. Why be moral? Because we care about other people. Because it's an advantage in a social species to care about other people. Because then we all survive better. Fuck. Much of Socrates' activity as a philosopher consisted in examining people about virtue. In Plato's earlier dialogues, he is presented as inquiring into the essence of such traits as wisdom, courage, and piety, because pi deserves worship. That's what that means, right? Socrates is convinced that possessing and exercising the virtues are absolutely crucial if a person is to lead a good and happy life. The point of philosophical inquiry into the virtues is that acting correctly requires that one possess knowledge of the human good. This is the second point. If you determine that it is a good thing to do that which is good, you now have to determine what is good, not in the Platonius sophistry sense of, well, if good is vague and undefined and God is vague and undefined, then God is good. QED. Like, what makes a thing good? What is the nature of goodness? Do we call it good because it benefits us? Or is there something objective about it? Because there is a lot of subjectivity. Like, for example, if the current president of the United States were impeached, removed, and jailed, that would be good for the United States, but it would be bad for him. So what is good? The greater good, the good that I agree with? How are we measuring? And what makes that measurement more legitimate than any other? These are the inquiries of philosophy. And we need to drill through these like a Republican searching for $1 in order to establish ethical systems. That one was a bit of a
That was apt. That was very
apt. Indeed, Socrates seems to have held that the victims of self-control, wisdom, and courage are nothing other than a particular type of knowledge. The virtues of self-control, wisdom, and courage are a type of knowledge. Are virtues a type of knowledge? That's a fun question too. But we don't have time to explore all of ancient philosophy. We have to focus on ethics, especially considering how prone I am to fucking tangents. This idea that terms such as courage and self-control pick out a single state of knowledge has become known as the doctrine of the unity of the virtues. Virtues. The doctrine of the unity of the virtues. Given the unity of the virtues, it follows that a person cannot possess one virtue independently of the others. If the person possesses one, they must possess them all. I disagree. Based not on a philosophical argument even, but experience. A person, for example, can have a great sense of epistemology when it comes to scientific inquiry, right? Like, I will not believe anything just because it is claimed. It must be demonstrated. But in certain circumstances, will accept a claim not only with no evidence, but in opposition to all evidence, and build a conspiracy theory to protect that initial cognitive bias and throw everyone he knows under the bus for calling him out on that. For example, nothing specific in mind there. It was just a thought pattern that came to me in the moment. That's all. So yeah, you can objectively, observably, demonstrably possess some values and not others. They don't come as a united package. It follows that a person cannot possess one virtue independently of the others, except they can. If the person possesses one, he must possess them all. Both Plato in the Republic and Aristotle in the Nicomachean Ethics subscribe to this variation of the idea. So, like Aristotle pointed out, he's not right about everything. No one is right about everything, even Aristotle. Plato's greatest work, the Republic, that's arguable, but there are a lot of important points. Like, Why, in an encyclopedia article, are we just singling out something and declaring it the greatest? Like, it's an article in an encyclopedia. Why are we dropping random opinions that have no bearing on the subject of the article? What are we doing? Was this written by a second grader who hasn't learned to keep your opinion the fuck out of your academic work?
I mean,
Now, I
you
should
could even
clarify. Sometimes you do include opinion. Like that is a valid thing you can do in academia, but just declaring this thing is the greatest. Why is it the greatest? Oh, it's the greatest because it talks about politics, which is you think is the most important subject. You have to say that. And why should we believe you that politics is the most important subject over, say, human well-being, for example, or who should get to vote, for example? Like, yes, those are arguably political matters. I get why a lot of people think politics is the most important, because to them, politics means everything that can be argued, but that's not how that works. I digress, though. I'm just getting spicy. I'm firing off at random. I'm chaotic today. What can I say? It's been, this is what happens when Ember doesn't sleep or get her medicine.
You could even Plato's widely regarded greatest work or something without necessarily injecting it. Just say like, hey, a lot of people greatest work. If you have to put something like that in the article.
I mean, you could, but it would make it clunkier. And weirdly, it kind of goes to show that the reason this is such bullshit is because if he wrote more like Trump, it would make the writing better. Like if he said Plato's, some people say, greatest work, The Republic, makes it clunkier and it sounds more like Trump. Yet it would be better than this.
Please don't do that.
Like, here's a pro tip. If your writing could be improved by making it sound more like Donald Trump, don't write that. Just remove that whole section from your writing. Write something else.
Please. For the sanity of all of us, please.
Oh my goodness. All right. Now that I've driven away half the audience again, Plato's work, The Republic. Now, it is a great work, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know why the insertion of this article author calling it the greatest, like, no one asked which one you think is the best or whatever. Plato's work, The Republic, is addressed specifically to the moral skeptic, someone who denies that being is just ultimately in one's good, and hence who maintains that a person has no ultimate reason to behave justly beyond the conventional sanctions of society. In other words, the skeptic claims that a person has no reason to behave justly when he can get away with behaving unjustly. Plato's response to the skeptic is that justice is an ordered state of the soul, with each part, reason, spirit, appetite, performing its proper function. The just person is happy because his soul is in an ordered and prosperous way. By contrast, what the fuck does any of that mean? By contrast, the unjust person's soul is chaotic. What did you just call me? You 2,500-year dead motherfucker. Call me unjust. Get the fuck out of here. Is chaotic and at war with itself, so that even if they were able to satisfy their desires, a lack of inner harmony and unity prevent the attainment of happiness. You can never be happy. You could never know peace. Or piss. Or peace. Or whatever. All right, enough overacting, Amber. Jesus Christ, we're not going for the fucking William Shatner Award this year. In this way, being moral is argued to be ultimately in a person's own self-interest. I mean, I can make a case that being moral is in a person's self-interest. But this is a shitty case. This is bad. Plato. Yeah. Come on now. This is like that time Diogenes dunked on you by bringing a fucking chicken to class. You can do better than this. Now, I realize this is a person summarizing a translation of what someone wrote that Plato wrote, but fucking hell. Possession of virtue, most specifically justice, is an indispensably necessary condition for a good life. I don't know that that's true. I think that it is necessary for a society as a whole to value justice, even if the individuals within it don't care. Like, I'm not saying they go out of their way to be unjust, like active con men, criminals, and other people who occupy the White House presently. But like, they're apathetic about justice, like the majority of people in the US. They only care about justice as a concept when they perceive themselves or someone they care about has been treated unjustly, has been done wrong, right? Like, no one cares about how good the criminal justice system is until either they are on trial or someone is on trial for doing wrong to someone they care about. You know, most people are apathetic to justice, but they rely on the presence of there being justice so that they can ignore the concept entirely and they can just get on with their lives. Like, to have that level of safety and security in a society, you have to have justice. So in order to ignore justice, you have to, on the civilizational level, value justice very highly. But whatever. Mighty Filbert says a William Shatner Award for overacting would be awesome. The Academy Awards people should totally do that. They should. They should.
I was giggling about.
I'd have some stiff competition though. Oh, my goodness. Rawr, 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 rawr. It's okay to stretch as long as you make noises while you do it, right? Just no dead air. There must be audio, even if it's speaking in tongues. Aristotle, you may have heard. I know it's a well-kept secret, but Aristotle was a student of Plato. Now this, okay, another tangent about writing, because I'm critiquing the article as much as we're reading it. As I often say, every video is somebody's first video. By the same token, every article is someone's first article. While 999,999 people who read this article already know Aristotle was a student of Plato, one person hasn't been exposed to that information yet. When we're talking about a subject, especially in the context of an academic style summary, it's important to be complete because some people don't know the context you don't say, right? And this is fine in and of itself, but the way we're ignoring large chunks of context and then inserting them seemingly at random indicates to me that this article wasn't thoroughly plotted out when it was written. For example, there's no mention of the fact that Plato was thought to be a student of Socrates, or that Socrates might be a fictional creation of Plato's. There is in that context. So the context of Aristotle was a student of Plato, it's important to be in there, but it's an indicator that context like this is appearing randomly rather than in an organized fashion. Like, the person who wrote the article or people had a chaotic soul that was disordered and incapable of happiness. What are we doing? Aristotle was a student of Plato, and his ethical inquiries are conducted with this. That's going to end up on a t-shirt now, isn't it? It's not. I'm not making. I have too much to do. I'm not making another t-shirt today. Shit.
Oh.
Well, okay. So I did.
Okay. I guess
teased
I'll have
the
to do it.
possibility. I teased the possibility of a bonus show yesterday. I warned that it may or may not happen. It ended up not happening, but I feel bad. Even though I did say it may not have. That's why it's important to subscribe and ring the bell, because sometimes they pop up, but not always. I don't always get to announce them beforehand. So I'm hoping I can get a bonus show out today. In fact, I'm going to make an intentional effort to do so, because there's a couple other things happening elsewhere in the verse today. And I'm aware, Dr. Kip has a show that is important to not be on at the same time as. But I'm going to try. I'll try extra hard, but no promises. No absolute guarantees, but I will try. My brain's going in too many places at once, as it often does. All right, student of Plato. Aristotle's ethical inquiries are conducted within the same ethical framework. So saith the author. Aristotle's basic thought is that happiness or living well depends on a creature's perfecting its natural endowments. Oh, why, Aristotle? I didn't know you'd noticed. He argues that reason is unique to man, by which I presume he means humans, so that the function of a human being will involve the exercise and perfection of its rational capabilities. Sadly, we still haven't given serious consideration to that idea in the Western world, at least. Oh, goodness. Andrew says, Ember has strong opinions about the construction of this article. I do. I am passing over so much stuff that my autistic and fucking super pedantic brain, like, many of you know, but many of you don't. I've had a lot of jobs over the years, and one of them was as a writer. I wrote multiple books, some fiction, some nonfiction. I wrote a shit ton of short stories. I wrote award-winning poetry, and I wrote thousands of articles for newspapers and academic sources over the years. And it's been a long time since I worked in that field. Close to 2 decades, possibly. It's been a while, but I still get kind of nitpicky about what's supposedly professional level writing. Like, when I see other people's writing, I just take it at face value, or it's context based, like people chatting in a Discord or on a Facebook post or whatever. But when it's a professional article, I'm passing over so much stuff, but some of it I just have to. It's almost a thing.
I understand. I get it. I go into my mode, and I'm just like, it drives me crazy. Because I'm like, I don't need to be doing this. I'm not getting paid to do this.
Right. Like, Jesus Christ. Kip says there will be natural endowments featured in my stream today. At 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and calculate your own time zones based on that. Hell yeah.
Oh, I've already got my alarm set. I'll have to pull double D, though, because I'm also supposed to mod my boss's chat at the same time.
Who's chat?
That should be fun. Chat. 2 million members. I don't know what we're thinking, but
the Discord or the YouTube channel?
No. YouTube.
Okay, because you said members, and I'm like, what are we talking about now? Okay. Anyway, no. I digress.
Yeah. And I'm the only.
Yeah. That's that. Maybe he should, get some more, perhaps.
I do a pretty good job over there.
It's probably fine. It's probably fine. Oh, right. It follows that a good life for humans involves the attainment of virtue or excellence in reason. Aristotle divides the human excellence, the virtues, connected with reason, into 2 groups: moral and intellectual excellence. You must excel to have the... Yeah. I used to be a stage performer too, once upon a time. You would think I could speak better than this, but sadly, Not today.
Mhm.
Not today, friends.
We all have our days. It happened.
Oh, goodness. And I was just Shatner Award auditioning, and now I can't even fucking say excellence. What has the world come to? All the fates. Oh, well. But this is exclusively non-rational, and so does not contribute to a distinctly human, which is, as opposed to animal, good, because humans apparently aren't animals. I mean, ancient Greek thought that's the whole thing, is the ability to reason. That's the distinction. So whatever. Moral excellences are excellences of character and pertain to action, including dispositions to feel emotions such as fear and make certain types of choices. See, this is more of what I'm talking about. To feel emotions such as fear. Like, why are we picking out specific things to exemplify and then specific examples to exemplify them with? Like, why fear? Why is it just specific emotions that we're talking about, but we're not referring to like particular actions, like helping a little old lady across the street, for example? Like, what are we fucking doing? Why not say like fear or excitement or anger? I mean, hell, just fear or anger. I would take the choices being made are driving me crazy. And they make certain types of choices, right? Based on Aristotelian logic. This thinking about rationality having to do with certain choices. Your moral excellence having to do with certain choices. I am severely questioning the morality of this author based on the rationality of their choices. Intellectual excellence, virtues, are excellences of thought, including such states as wisdom and intelligence. See, that's beautiful. Such states as wisdom and intelligence. It shows that there's two concepts that are slightly vague, aren't the same thing, and it shows a range of such as is instead of just one. Whatever. In general, his claim is that virtues of character and intellect are ways of perfecting reason and hence indispensable to the good human life. Now, what do we mean by a good life? Are we saying being a good person or your life is happy? Because these aren't the same thing. You don't have to be good to be happy. You don't have to be happy to be good. They're not necessarily related at all. Like, we're never going to get through the relevant background philosophy, and I do have to apologize for that, because like, well, no, I don't. It's not just that the article is written poorly. It's and yes, I have seen much worse. I'm not saying it's the worst article ever. I'm saying it's not up to the minimum standards to be published in an encyclopedia. That's all I'm saying about that. Yes, it could be a lot worse. At least they're complete sentences. We've seen a lot worse go a lot further these days. But whatever. We need the basics of the basic building blocks of where what we now call ethical philosophy came from to build up to how we got modern ethics today. Why we have why we have a movement that puts humanism above religious membership. And what that means, I don't think we're going to get all the way today. But what I will do is I will try to summarize. We'll speed run some bits, and maybe we'll get into deeper bits another day. I'm sure we have not heard the last of the ancient Greek philosophers, but I will play for you a quick summary of what happens if you don't care about moral excellence or humanism or values for that matter.
I have a problem with this stuff being normalized across the spectrum, and specifically, like, why push this on kids? Why introduce this to kids?
I am a depraved wretch. I am a great sinner. I'm a worm, completely undeserving of any love or any grace. I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
You're incapable of being a good person. You're an evil person. You're a terrible person. At the core fabric of who you are. That's why we need laws. We need laws because we're bad people. All of us are bad people.
You can't spell Pride Month without demon. PRIDEMONTH.
If we don't know who the women are, because they are just people, then we won't be able to pull the women up to equality with men.
We have to try to limit the harm. And that means reducing or keeping down the number of people who transition. And that's for two reasons. One of them is that every one of those people is a person who's been damaged. But the second one is every one of those people is basically, you know, a huge problem to a sane world.
Transgenderism must be eradicated.
The LGBT, transgender, grooming our children's minds is a national security threat. We need to hold people for treason, start having some public hearings, and start executing people.
I will use whatever gives me victory. I don't care about the truth, and I don't care about the law. I care about one thing, the control.
But then they rigged the election, and now we won, so I'm going to be your president.
Then what happened is they rigged the election, and I became president, so that was a good thing.
I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
I just want to say I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes.
It was actually a tremendous blessing to these children for them to be killed and go to heaven and be with God.
We've been hoodwinked. We've been taken in by an ideology crafted by creeps and then pushed on children.
Stop letting people pressure you into thinking.
I want to be ignorant, honestly.
Being a Christian doesn't exclude us from experiencing spiritual dryness.
We're bad people. All of us are bad people.
It occurs to me I have another clip I need to insert in there. I'll get right on that. But I also need to make other things I can play. Now, that one fit in fairly well. But as yesterday demonstrated, I need to make other things I can play. But I don't know what to do or where. Like, these are clips that I've built up over years of doing counter apologetics. I don't know what else to use. Maybe like a wonders of the universe kind of thing. Oh my goodness. Trying to track down all the different times I've ranted about how magnificent various sciences are would take. There's literally thousands of hours of Ember content on the interwebs on this channel and dozens of others. I don't even know where to look. So if you have ideas, if you have suggestions.
Oh, I've already got my.
Bug me. Or if you want to help.
Yeah, I've got an idea for one for my channel. I'm going to do from
there you go.
My Dr. Kip. You gave me the idea for it.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be neat. It'll be very neat. In fairness, I do steal a lot of ideas from other, like probably a third of the t-shirts are things that we've said between us on this show. Oh, yeah. Theo wants to know, is there a filter against spiritual dryness? Maybe if you're suffering from spiritual dryness, you can go to epicwaterfilters.com and enter code Ember15 at checkout. Let me move that. Use code Ember15 at checkout for 15% off. You can get one of these stainless steel has a little filter that attaches to the straw. It's super neat. And there's a couple different filters you can use. I have the tap water filter on, but there's also a naturey filter for like streams and shit. Or you can get one of these, and that mine's stainless steel, but you can get the plastic. It's a bioplastic kind of thing. It's not important right now, but this also bioplastic, bamboo, The whole thing is recyclable and biodegradable. It's fucking cool. But it's got the bigger filter thing, and it holds more water. Or you can get an under sink unit, so everything that comes out of your sink is filtered. I don't have one of those. Where would I put it? I mean, under a sink, obviously, but it's not actually my house. I just rent this room, so anyway, there's options, and maybe one of them will help with spiritual dryness. So yay. I got to capitalism twice on this show.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
It's true. And I have been the original idea was I was going to make euphemisms and be like, and if such and such makes you feel wet, and then I do it was a play on the thing Brentley used to. It just isn't happening. And I'm like, talking about all this water makes me, and it just doesn't fit. I don't know. Maybe we'll get there. Chrissy's here. Hello, Chrissy. Good to see you. And she says the Elon clip is fantastic. I mean, it's the shortest one, but it's the clearest one. I'm just this is what we have now, and this is why we have it now. Ay ay ay. All right, we have only a few minutes left, and we have a lot to cover. I don't think we're going to get through it, but we're going to try. Okay.
Speed run.
Here we go. Medieval times. We're zipping ahead in time. The Church Fathers. Yes, this is what makes it medieval. It isn't the fall of Rome. It's the fact that philosophy switches from the educated thinkers to the Church Fathers, because these are the educated people, even if their thinking is very tightly prescribed at the time. That's the cultural shift. But whatever. Why is Dr. Kip says, Christ, look at the time. Why do we want Christ to look at the time? And he's already late. He's not going to get any later.
I do not.
All right, I'm failing at my Church Fathers. One central philosophical aim of the patristic period, the writings of the Church Fathers, the patriarchy, behold, was the attempt, yes, there was patriarchy long before this. I know that's not the point. Was the attempt to understand, although it's interesting that the Church Fathers for a very long time were called the patriarchs, and in some traditions they still are, but never mind. Was the attempt to understand and interpret the Judeo-Christian scriptures in light of the Greek philosophers. Saint Augustine, or Augustine, depending on who you ask, was undoubtedly the most important figure of the time. Other significant figures are Gregory of Nyssa, Ambrose, Saint Jerome, and Boethius. Although Boethius is an important thinker too. Augustine's major contributions to ethics is his account of the will, which is to say volunteerism. Indeed, some philosophers, such as Albrecht Albrecht, have argued that the modern and medieval concept of the will originates with Augustine. Ancient Greek ethic. Now, we can also find older philosophy that talks about this, but never mind. The modern concept of the will, as in free will, as in God gave you the power to make your own choices, that kind of, it bridges between philosophy and theology. But whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Ancient Greek ethics is a form of intellectualism. Why, yes. Yes, the thought about ethics is philosophical and therefore is an intellectual pursuit. I'll let that one go. The intellect was conceived as the most important faculty in the determination of action. Why are we recapping the ancient Greeks when the point of this section is to talk about the Church Fathers? The section about the ancient Greeks was for talking about the ancient Greeks. Did you not lay it out in the section it was for? Do you need to go back and insert that section in the section that it belongs in?
You know what this reminds me? Whoever was in charge of writing this article, they did an essay when they were here at college, decided, hey, I already have put it up there and didn't proofread it. And didn't reread it to make sure that it would fit.
Unfucking real. It's like several essays were Frankenstein together. I don't know. I'll let it go. We have to move on. Once the practical intellect had judged a certain course of action to be the best, rational choice would follow. Indeed, Socrates, in a more guarded fashion, Aristotle denied the possibility of akrasia, or weakness of will. All cases of wrongdoing are treated as cases of imperfect knowledge. Now that's an interesting idea. That is some philosophy there, because if instead of saying, presupposing that a person has done wrong because they chose to do wrong, but rather their knowledge of the proper circumstances is lacking, and so they've attempted to make a good choice, but ended up making an incorrect choice because their knowledge was imperfect. It's sort of like a prototypical version of that idea that don't assume malice when ignorance or incompetence suffices. Don't assume a person is trying to do something wrong when them not knowing any better works as an explanation. But also, we do know people do know better and still choose to do wrong, So it's an interesting thought, but nothing you're going to get out of this is an absolute. There is no single conclusion from this. It's just something to think about and consider, and maybe discover some interesting other thoughts that might fall out in the process. Encapsulated in the famous Socratic formula, no one does wrong willingly. Is that a famous Socratic formula? Because I don't know if I've ever heard that before. I mean, it's possible I have, and I forgot. My philosophy classes were over a decade ago at this point. But I think I would remember, because I so ferociously disagree with it. People do choose to do wrong intentionally and willingly and on purpose. We know they do, because they tell us so, Holy shit. Anyway, in contrast, St. Augustine held that one might know good and still not do it. Holy shit, they're making me agree with Augustine. I need to find some fucking okra. Does anyone have any hemlock? Jesus Christ. In a famous passage from Confessions 2, he recounts how, as a boy, he stole pears for the very thrill of doing wrong. We see this in the church a lot, too. There's a whole lot of Catholic teenagers who do some very naughty things, specifically because they've been told they're naughty. I won't elaborate further.
Yeah.
I will take no questions. Oh no! One of my lads says the University of Oklahoma valedictorian wrote this article. I mean, we haven't seen enough sucking Jesus's dick in this one to conclude that. Like, there needs to be a lot more because God said so, and a lot less Socrates and Plato. But I do appreciate the joke. Oh my goodness. All right, where the fuck was I? The challenge to Greek intellectualism in that Augustine did not think that stealing the pears was good, or that the pears themselves were particularly good. He had better ones at home. What a dick. To make sense of this possibility, Augustine develops a notion of the will as an executive power that need not follow the intellect's judgments. Yeah, I'm I feel some kind of way to say so, but I agree with Augustine here because we've seen it. A person can perform an action that he judges to be entirely unjustified. It is always open to the will to reject the judgments of the intellect. The will is capable of choosing to do something the intellect judges to be bad. And that's the entire medieval period. It was just Augustine engaging with the ideas of the Greeks. And we're not even going to talk about the main thing Augustine did. But never mind. It's fine. We're moving on. The age of high scholasticism begins towards the end of the 11th century and ends around the middle of the 14th century. The 13th century was particularly a fruitful period of philosophical activity. The main contributors were members of religious orders, such as the Dominicans and the Franciscans. Central figures were St. Thomas Aquinas, John Duns Scotus. There's a guy named Scotus. Go figure. And William Ockham. William of Ockham. It's an important distinction because the razor is of Occam. It's a de Occam razor rather than, it's not William's razor. You see, it's important to note. Thomas Aquinas, how disrespectful to not call him a saint. Like we people deserve their proper appellations. While it's true, I don't insist on any of my own proper appellations, like reverend or doctor or any of the others. That's like a personal thing. Like people can say, just call me name or whatever, or they make a conscious choice to not want to draw upon those emblems of authority because of various reasons, right? But like if a person runs around like say Dr. Kip, for example, who has doctor specifically on his name. Now, sometimes Lil and I will call him Kip because we've engaged enough. We have a sort of informal thing going on. But like a person should not look at Dr. Kip and ignore the doctor part. It's just disrespectful,
Mm-hmm.
And also, behold the book.
A show for his book too. Yes, which is why Kip is technically named Dr. Kip. So I named her Dr. Kip.
Well, hold on. As I understand it, you asked if it was okay with him if you named her Dr. Kip.
But I was going to name her just Kip. And he's like, I wonder if she would name him Dr. Kip because we thought it was a boy at first.
What if it was always a joke? It was
like,
supposed to be
done.
Dr. Kip.
Oh, that's a good one.
That does sound like something Kip would say.
Yeah.
We must consult the oracles.
Just say Dr. Kip on her name tag.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, where did she get her dog turret? Is it? I know we've heard that joke before, somewhere. I don't know. Ryan is over here shaving with Occam's razor. I mean, don't we all though? Don't we all? Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are almost out of time. I mean, technically we are out of time because we started late and we're past the time I'm supposed to end typically, but it's fine. You know what? We are not going to get much further. If y'all want to hear more about ethics and whatnot, let me know in the comments. We will do a part 2 about it or something. But the reason it's in the Advent is because our civilization, such as it is, depends on ethics, which is to say morals scaled up to the organizational level. Whether you're talking about a society or just a village within a greater civilization, or a nonprofit, a church, a corporation, any kind of organization of people. The difference between ethics and morals is that it's supposed to be elevated to an intersubjective level. It's something that multiple people agree upon is as close to objective as we can agree upon for what is best. It's a system of values. It's In fact, it's not just a system of values. It's a prioritization of values. It's, do we put free speech ahead of gun rights, for example? Like, which order should the values be in so that when there's a conflict, we know what to prioritize and why we should prioritize it. That's what ethical thinking today is primarily about. The underpinnings of why it matters and what makes a thing good or bad. These are wonderful things to think about. But in terms of secular accomplishment, the entirety of the humanist movement depends on the principle that the well-being of humans must be a higher order value than which specific mythology you subscribe to, if any.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I could have done the whole episode in 10 minutes if I didn't try to read the fucking article. It's fine though. But we got to the point.
We have fun.
And that is the point. It's critical. As much as people might poo-poo the concept of ethics to secularism to humanism, whatever, because again, when you live in a broadly speaking just society, you can just ignore it. That's a privilege you have because of the civilization that's been built. But that civilization depends on the ethical system. So yeah, Chrissy says, I don't know where anyone else might be going, but I assume it's supposed to say I don't have anywhere else to be. I appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that a lot of people would be happy to stick around for a longer show.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of reasons that I do try to keep the shows to an hour and a half. The first is because half of the audience leaves, and that's bad. It makes the algorithm go, oh, well, no one wants to watch this, and it doesn't get shown to anyone else. We already struggle with that. The second is people who watch it later. The longer the stream goes, the less likely they are to rewatch it. They'll just watch something else, you know? So there's a couple of reasons. And I, left to my own devices, I would probably be on the air 6 hours a day. But then no one would ever see anything I produced. Like, it's an unfortunate factor of the way the internet works. If you want to help with that, though, there is no more powerful button than the share button. Liking helps, commenting helps, watching a few more minutes of the video than you otherwise would helps so much. But hitting the share button, even if you don't actually share, if you send it to your own email, it still tells the algorithm that people think this content needs to be shared, and it will help more than you might believe. That doesn't necessarily mean that this specific show will be longer in future episodes, but the better this channel does, the more I can do bonus shows. For a whole bunch of reasons we don't have time to get into. Deviant says, why do people leave? There are no shows after this one, and I need my Ember and my Lil Harlot. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I love it. I
Mark started this.
I've asked before. I'm like, for some reason, half the audience leaves at 12:30 every day. I would like to know what's happening, because I don't know of something, and if something cool is happening, I would like to go watch that too. But no one has ever told me. So if you find out, let me know, please. All right, but anyway, I do digress. It's the ethical thing to do.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I will try to do a bonus show later today. You know, we're going to talk about more philosophy another time, if not specifically ethics, because the subject is fucking fascinating. And there's so much subject. It's like talking about science. It's not just science. It's chemistry, it's biology, it's geology, it's astronomy. It isn't science, you know? But I digress. Thank you all so much for coming. It's as always lovely to see you all. And in some, I'm having too many emotions to form coherent thoughts. So thank you for being here. Especially right now, it means a lot. And again, Advent is continuing. We're going to be back at it Monday, because Monday through Friday, every weekday, 11 a.m. Eastern, we're doing the thing. We've got a whole bunch more achievements of secularism that make the world we have today. And there's other stuff too. Debate review on Saturday. Mark will be back over at my place. We're doing a classic. It should be fun. But also bonus shows may pop up, and I will try to do a bonus show today. We'll see how things go, but I will try. And of course, we'll see you around the community too. So I'm blathering. I do that from time to time. Yeah, as always, remember, you don't have to try to justify your wrongdoing by saying it was merely imperfect knowledge of a chaotic and disordered soul, because you are better than conspiracy theories. Toodles. Thanks to all our patrons and top-level members for November. Miranda, Karen Butcher, Jessica the Transmetal Alchemist, Robin Webster, Maya Adkisson, Jimmy Tux, Ian Chen, Lilith, Ember Lynn, The Barely Bearable Atheist, Eric Wander, Jason Jacoby, Godless Engineer, Jester, Lil of All Trades, Deviant Outcast, Kelly King, the Detroit Atheist Queen, The Mighty Filbert, and Secular Phalanist. And you can add your name here next month by signing up at patreon.com/betterthanember, or by joining Emberships here on YouTube at the Cinder level, which also includes all the custom emojis, tons of member-exclusive content, member-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. I deeply appreciate all the supporters who keep this channel going. Thank you all so much. Because of you, we're building a wonderful community that I'm very proud of.
Just like a spark that's breaking out, can't make a stop.